You know, I hear everybody's bowls tinkling. So if you all were here, you could be tinkling a bowl too. Okay, put that away.
Oh, that's. I will be putting this away Same
No, I'm just joking.
Okay, so
I'm just teasing you.
start at the beginning.
Yes.
Say hi, my name is Debbie.
Hi, my name is Debbie. Debbie Lucas. I'm a dietitian, diabetes educator, and I'm here today to talk about nutrition tips for a healthy brain. How was that?
Perfect.
Okay, good. How is everybody doing today? Good. Everybody out there doing good? I'm hoping so. Linda can see if you're doing a thumbs up or not. Well, welcome to fall, and our talk today is all about eating for a healthy brain, which I think is something that's near and dear to a lot of our hearts. We maybe know someone who's been touched by dementia or Alzheimer's, and we sure don't want that to happen to us. So the thing is, and John said, well, what do you have to eat for a healthy brain? I said, it's the same thing I always say. But so it's going to be whole foods, real foods, less processed foods, but we'll talk about a few more specific things too. And we'll give you, of course, another acronym to learn. Okay. I don't know how to move it now. Do I hit enter, return? I don't see the arrow anymore. The arrow's gone.
There.
Up there?
I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. So what happens when that goes away, or will it stay now?
I think you can press the screen on the right side and it'll move.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So just a little brain health facts. And it sounds really depressing, but the end is that prevention does seem to be the key. And so that's what we're all about, is preventing. So Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. And you know what? Sometimes when we see these causes of death and they number them, it could even be more, because sometimes someone with Alzheimer's might die from having heart attack. So then it goes under the heart, or like same with diabetes. It could be that they had a heart attack, but it was diabetes that led to that. 1 in 3 seniors die with Alzheimer's or dementia. And that's more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined, which I think, I don't know, eventually you start to think, well, everybody just gets cancer. But really, no, it seems like a lot more people get Alzheimer's or dementia. So yes.
Just that hits home because on my mother's death certificate, Alzheimer's dementia.
Oh, it was. Okay. So
she's part of that.
She is. See, my dad wasn't, because he ended up having a stroke. And so it did not say that. But okay. So 47 million adults worldwide with Alzheimer's right now, and it's expected to triple by 2050. Is that because of lifestyle? Is it because of things in the air? It could be because of so many things.
I worry about it because my mom had Alzheimer's.
True.
Her sister had Alzheimer's. And then another aunt on my dad's side had but it was called late. You know,
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
And then I like I said, I had this forgetfulness.
Oh, and you think that's it. I know, the minute you forget your keys, you think that. So Mary's saying that there's a lot of people in her family who've had it.
I was driving along and I said, where am I?
Oh.
It's right there where I live.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that it's rough, especially, you know, as we're getting older and you have those senior moments, and it gets pretty scary. I know. So we want to do all we can to prevent that.
They usually assign that to older people.
Yes.
But fairly when fairly right, because if you could just be thinking and not that you forgot.
Right, you've got too much on your mind.
I'm using visuals, like if you ask me how do you do this, and in my mind, unlike Ivan that can just, I have to picture it, visualize it out. So people think I'm slow or didn't know.
Oh, yeah, and
I didn't know, I would just tell you, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, just sit there and think about it.
Right. That's true. That's true. So Paul's saying it just also could just be how we process things, right? Some of us process a little slower than others. So it doesn't mean just because we're getting older that we're getting dementia. It's just how we process. Deaths from heart disease have gone down, actually. Yay. but deaths from Alzheimer's have gone up substantially, 146%. And those are the ones that have made it onto the death certificate. So there might be even more. In 2020 alone, the cost for Alzheimer's and dementia, and I think they were just estimating these costs when they put this statistic out, would reach $305 billion. And by 2050, at the current rate that Alzheimer's is growing, the cost will be over $1 trillion, something that will just break our healthcare system.
Starting.
Isn't it frightening? But it's known that once you have it, there's not a whole lot that can be done, even though there are medications and things. How effective they are, we don't really even know. But prevention appears to be the key. So that's where we're at, is we're trying to prevent. And there's lots of resources out there to help us know what to do. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I did it. Okay. See here, I'm an old person and I learned how to use the mouse on the keyboard. So key factors, you'll hear a lot of things about Alzheimer's and dementia, but plaques are these little protein things called beta amyloid that are in the spaces in between our nerve cells. So then there's tangles, which are these little twists of another kind of protein, and they're called tau. It rhymes with wow, that build up in our cells. So you can take a look here. You can see this healthy brain and the one that looks just super shrunken, and that's our severe AD, Alzheimer's disease. And then also in here, you can see they show the little picture of the shrunken disease, and in the bigger box, we see the plaque and those little tangles. So that's what a brain would look like. So there's lots of things we can do we have risk factors for things. Like we know for heart disease, there's a lot of things we can do to reduce our risk. Same with Alzheimer's. So these are modifiable risk factors for dementia, Alzheimer's. So hypertension, it means let's get our hypertension under control. Because if we have high blood pressure uncontrolled for extended periods of time, that can damage our blood vessels. Diabetes, obesity, smoking, cognitive inactivity. So that could be not really utilizing our brain, but also could be a lower education level. Physical inactivity, social isolation, depression, and hearing loss. So when I look at these, my dad in particular, before he died, he had a lot of hearing loss. And I think that's so important. I know we've had some talks on that here, but I think it makes you feel so isolated if you can't hear. And then also you don't really understand what people are saying. So you kind of guess because you don't want them to know you really couldn't hear. My husband and I are at that stage now where we just sort of guess because we can't really hear what the other one said.
You can't hear or selective hearing.
Yeah, I'm not sure which. You are right. Could be selective hearing. So all of these are associated with slow decline in our brain health and Alzheimer's. So those are a lot of things we work on here, right? So we're working on getting moving. We're working when we're all together like this. Do you need some water? You okay? Okay. We are not socially isolated. I know Linda has people come and talk about so many different things, including hearing and high blood pressure. We get our diabetes under control, which we can help you with if you feel like yours isn't. Weight loss, if you need to lose weight. No smoking. Hopefully we don't have any smokers in here. If we do, call 1-800-NO-BUTTS and they will help you get off it. Okay, there we go. So I just threw this in because it's also diabetes month. So I got a couple extra slides on diabetes, which also is associated with increased risk of Alzheimer's. So if you say, oh, I don't have diabetes, I'm good. The thing is, more people, like what did I hear the new number? 93 million people have pre-diabetes and they don't know it. They don't really even, that just means you don't have diabetes yet, but if you don't make some changes, you're going to get it. Pretty much. You're heading that path. So you can just Google the screening test for prediabetes. This one's put out by the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, and you can take a little test. And then you can let you know if you're at risk for developing diabetes or if you have pre-diabetes. There are labs, which I can't believe I might have put in here. Maybe I didn't. Lab tests, if you go have just your regular tests that you have all the time and or regularly your annual tests, if your fasting glucose is above 100, but less than 120, 125 or less, they call that pre-diabetes. And some doctors make a real big deal of it, and some doctors don't. So I'm here to tell you, if you find that's you, make a big deal of it, because people who have prediabetes are so prone to turning into diabetes if they don't make lifestyle changes. And those lifestyle changes are the ones we do here. Lose weight if you need to, get moving, work on your stress. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, I love carbs, they're going to tell me not to eat carbs. They're not going to do that. What they want you to do, though, really, exercise and weight loss are the best things for pre-diabetes. And we want to make good food choices like we talk about here every day. So pre-diabetes is when your blood sugar is higher than normal. Diabetes, the number, if your fasting glucose is above 120, is 126 or above, they call that diabetes. Or if somebody just pokes your finger randomly at a health fair, at the doctor, and you're 200 or above, you got diabetes there too. And diabetes is super manageable. So don't be afraid of it. Or if anyone in your family has it, they can really get a lot of help. So preventing or controlling your diabetes, if you have it, reduces your risk of heart disease, stroke, blindness, kidney failure, all the things we're afraid of if we have diabetes. But also now we know it also might improve our brain health.
So do you know, Debbie, if people have diabetes and then don't because they got better? Go away.
It goes into remission. They still have it because you're right. All the things they did, lost weight, started to exercise, ate better, quit drinking sodas, all those things that they might do. And now they don't, their numbers are so good, they don't have what we would call diabetes or even pre-diabetes. But if they went back to any of those things, it could come right back. So they call it going into remission. And that's what we want to do, is put it into remission. And it can stay there forever if we continue with the lifestyle changes. And we've talked about this before. Whatever lifestyle changes you do to help with your health risks, you got to be able to do it for the rest of your life. It isn't just, I'm going to go on this 12-week diet. It's, I'm just going to train to be in that run on Thanksgiving, and then I'm not going to exercise anymore. It's, you got to be able to do it for the rest of your life. So it's got to be something you know you can do. Okay, where are we going? I'm having a little trouble with my little arrow. There. So what to do if you have pre-diabetes? Increase your activity. I think you guys are all active, so I'm preaching to the choir here. But they have done some studies that show for people who had pre-diabetes, if they exercise for 15 minutes after each meal, they reduce their risk of developing diabetes substantially, even more so than somebody who did 45 minutes in a row. The reason being, you eat food, your food turns into sugar like it's supposed to. It raises your blood sugar level, but exercise brings your blood sugar down. So if as your blood sugar is going up from a meal, exercise will bring it down. Talk to your doctor to see if you maybe need a medication. You know, there was a study called the Diabetes Prevention Program study way back in like the 90s. Or early 2000s. And they found that there was a medication that reduced risk of developing diabetes if you had pre-diabetes, and that's called metformin or glucophage. You might have heard of that if you know anyone with diabetes. So you might want to try that, or lifestyle changes, which I'm always about. I think that should be probably number one on our list, is following a lower fat diet, more plants, as much as possible. Remember when Dr. Greger came and talked to us, we were talking about organic food, but he said it just showed the health benefits of eating one more fruit or one more vegetable a day. So just get as many plants as you can into your diet, even if you're not ready to be all whole food plant-based. And lose weight if you need to, because extra weight means we don't use our insulin that we make as well. And whatever health system you're in, I am sure they have a pre-diabetes class that you could go to. And I think I have a slide on that in a second. If you have diabetes, you should be seeing your doctor regularly. And I think a diabetes educator is excellent, because you see the doctor and they don't always have time to look at your numbers and all that stuff. But a diabetes educator has more time. It's covered by your insurance or Medicare. and they will help you fine tune your numbers. If you have diabetes, they want you to eat carbs, good quality carbs, meaning not the processed stuff, but you eat it more consistently. So you have about the same amount of carbs at each meal. Instead of one meal, you have none. And the next meal, it's like Thanksgiving and you're up here. So a diabetes educator can absolutely help you with that. I can help you with that if you're interested. Get moving at least 5 days a week, at least 30 minutes. I'd say even more would be better. And, ask your if you've got diabetes, ask your doctor for a referral to that diabetes educator. With Medicare, you get like 4 hours a year of education. That's part of your plan. And this is, I guess I put this in here in case we've got people from all different areas, but every single one of these programs that are in our area will offer a pre-diabetes class. Some for free, some might be like $25, but it's money well spent if there is a cost. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So that was diabetes. That's my spiel. High blood pressure. I particularly suffer from high blood pressure. Anybody else? If you care to share, if you don't want to, that's fine. But I find it super frustrating because I think I'm just eating so fine and I'm exercising okay. And then sometimes my blood pressure will just be high. It's so annoying.
So getting your valve didn't fix your blood pressure.
It did for a while, but it could have fixed it for that long because I actually didn't check my blood pressure. That could have been why it seemed fine. Now that I actually check, it's a different story. But, get your blood pressure checked, which you do here, so you have more of an idea. But they have tightened up the numbers on blood pressure over the years. So it used to be if you were 120/80, they thought you were doing pretty good. And now you need to be less than that to be considered normal. And elevated is 120 to 129 or less than 80. Yes.
They've done the same thing with your blood sugar numbers.
Yes.
Where they have now tightened it, saying
True.
70 to 100 instead of 110 or 1.
You are right.
They keep shrinking that. I noticed that too with blood pressure as well. And yeah, so.
So Rob's pointed out that also with diabetes, they've changed the numbers. So then you get more people diagnosed. They did that with the BMI, the body mass index. Was that in the 90s, maybe, when they did that? You went to bed at a normal weight, and when you woke up and now it was a new BMI, now you're considered overweight. But, I know some people get really irritated by that. I do a little bit too. But you think, oh, it's the drug companies. They're just trying to sell more drugs. But really, if we think of it as they're trying to catch more people at a time when they can turn it around. And we're all in the driver's seat, right? We all can do that. I think maybe it's just a little wake up call for us. And maybe we need that more. Like when I finally did start checking my blood pressure after my valve surgery, I realized I should have been checking a little more. So we want to just manage our blood pressure. Some of the best ways is, of course, the plant-based diet. I'm going to say that's the answer to everything, but also the DASH diet. That was a huge study in the 90s. Dietary approaches to stop hypertension. And it's basically a lower sodium diet, but it's high in fruits and vegetables. That was what came out of the DASH study that changed everything. Remember before that, it was you eat 5 a day fruits and vegetables. Remember our 5 a day days? And they said, no, you need 9 to 10 because that's going to help you to lower your blood pressure. Whole grains, not too much alcohol. They did actually 2 DASH studies. One was they didn't really mess with the salt at all. And they found, oh, look, more fruits and vegetables really help. And then they did DASH 2, where they actually reduced their sodium to 1,500 milligrams, like 2/3 of a teaspoon a day. And they found that blood pressure improved even more. You could lose the processed foods because that's where we get most of our salt. A lot of times we think it's shaken at the table, but it's really in anything that comes in a box, a can, or I'm going to say in a restaurant, anywhere you go. So just be more aware of that. If you do shake at the table, maybe stop. If you don't want to stop, cover up one of the holes with some tape, which is what we do at our house. Move more. So they're all going to be the same on moving, at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. But managing our stress is important. And I know Linda has some really great speakers here about managing our stress. Quit smoking. There's your 1-800-NO-BUTTS. And you can ask for a referral to a dietitian. And I can meet with you here if you want to, but your insurance company will probably cover something in your health system with your doctor. And so now I was more specific on high blood pressure and diabetes. And I think when you have a loved one who you think you're sure they have dementia, like we took my dad, and I was so irritated when we went because they were worrying about his heart and his blood pressure. I'm going, no, he has dementia. It's clear to me. But they have to rule all those things out, get those in line first. So that's why I just spend a little bit more time on those. But I know it's kind of annoying because you really want to know, what do I need to eat to help my brain? So one thing is anti-inflammatory foods. Inflammation, we talk about it all the time. I know it's like you get a sprained ankle and it swells up and turns all red. And that's inflammation. That's acute inflammation, something that's just to protect you for that one little incident. But our body has this inflammation inside that we don't see. And what we found out over the years, since I was in school for sure, that inflammation is the root cause of so many chronic diseases. And a lot of the typical American diet are inflammatory foods. A little bit ago, we could have pointed at one that was back there in the corner, but it's not there right now. He was eating a pepperoni pizza. He's ignoring us now. But we want to avoid processed foods, high fat foods, super high salt foods. We want to eat whole real foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. We want to watch our saturated fats and trans fats. And we talk about those a lot for our heart health. Same goes for our brain, because we got the same blood vessels going into our brain. We try to choose enough calories to maintain a healthy weight. If we're putting on weight, we might be eating more calories than we should. So we might need to adjust that. High in veggies is always the answer. Lots of veggies, low in animal products, because really most animal products are inflammatory, and high in saturated fat. Now, this is kind of a fun one, is high in spices, because we think spices are just this little thing we throw on our food to give it a better taste. But these are anti-inflammatory foods and antioxidants. So cloves, ginger, rosemary, turmeric are ones you really hear about for brain health, but they're all good. And then include vitamin E rich foods, tends to be helpful with our brain health too. And a lot of times vitamin E is in high fat foods like vegetable oils, but they're also in our nuts and seeds and in our greens too. So most anything you hear that say, oh, have greens every day, I still think we should. So here would be a whole food plant-based diet with a variety of foods. I like this one because it really shows you a little more specifics. It really breaks it down. It's like we get some nuts and seeds. And over the years, me included as a dietitian told people, oh, be careful about the nuts and seeds. But now we know that they're really pretty good for us. And then we got our fruit, a few servings a day, and we got our vegetables, 4 or more servings a day. We've got our beans and lentils, high fiber, high in protein. And then we've got our whole grains and our starchy vegetables. What are starchy vegetables? Potatoes, pumpkin, so winter squash. So corn is another starchy vegetable, and peas. I know you think, oh, they're green, but yeah, they're starchy. Peas. Yeah, so it's potatoes, corn, and peas, and winter squash. So not like zucchini and stuff. That's all fine and dandy. And there's nothing wrong with starchy vegetables. Starchy vegetables just have a little more carb, a little more fiber, and they've kind of gotten a bad rap over the years, but shouldn't. So there has been some research, and this study, actually, I think they're starting to wrap it up. It was Dean Ornish. He did a reversing Alzheimer's study. And this was the first randomized controlled trial, which is a good kind of trial because you don't have as much just left to chance. And they wanted to look if the progression of early Alzheimer's could be reversed. And it didn't look just at one thing. It didn't look just at turmeric or just at a diet. It looked at a lifestyle. So a number of things. They didn't use drugs or devices or surgery. And their tagline for his books, his current books, and the study was: you eat well, you love more, you stress less, and you move more. Those are the lifestyle changes that they looked at in this study. It was whole food diet. It was low in fat and low in sugar. It was plant-based, but they did include, now I forget, vitamin E, I think, like fish oil. I think they did include fish oil. Plus moderate activity. They worked on stress management. They included meditation and some psychosocial support to help reduce that stress. So we don't have the results from that, but I hear they're going to be coming out very soon. So I was excited about that study because it was this lifestyle program, the same as we do here. So then there's another diet that's often linked to reduced risk of Alzheimer's, and they call it the MIND diet. It's a little conglomeration of the Mediterranean diet and the DASH diet. So DASH was to help with blood pressure, and Mediterranean diet tends to be a good heart healthy one that they promote a lot. And so they called it the MIND diet, as was in 2015. And they found this MIND diet did lower risk of Alzheimer's. And 53% of the people in the diet reduced their risk if they followed the diet very strictly. But I thought kind of the good news was 35% who just followed it kind of okay, they still had a reduced risk. So if you're thinking, oh my gosh, I don't think I can be that strict, it still helps anything you do. So in this one, they ate more fruits and vegetables. They ate more beans. They did include fish. And what they didn't eat is all that stuff on the right, the highly processed kind of junk food that many of us grew up with. I mean, I can see some of these things. Rice-A-Roni, oh my gosh, yes. Hamburger Helper, yeah. Rice-A-Roni, of course. So we eat that left off and we eat whole real food. And Linda has a little cartoon over there, which I just read today, maybe for the first time. I don't know if it's new and I've just never seen it, but it said, I hate it when I walk into the kitchen and all I see are ingredients. Because isn't that the truth? Like that's why we gravitate to the things on the right, because it's really easy. And it does take more work to make stuff. It absolutely does. And not all of us love doing that. So if you're one who doesn't love that, I encourage a little more batch cooking where you make bigger amounts and then you eat that during the week. What?
The little box on the bottom right.
That's the MIND diet. That's another.
Oh, that's my reference.
Oh, you're putting it-
Yeah, that's just my footnote. Not what I normally do, so I must have stolen that from someone.
I'm surprised I can read it.
I am too. I could barely read it on my own screen. Okay, so here's what's on the MIND diet. This is more a fun way of remembering what it is. So at least 3 servings of whole grains a day, at least 1 dark green leafy or salad or vegetable every day, berries twice a week. I always struggle with this one, especially when we get into the winter. So I've got to get my frozen veggies because I won't buy them at those prices at the store. And then eat those. What I've kind of been doing is just have a little bowl of my blueberries with a couple nuts on it at night while my husband's eating his popcorn.
Is the dried blueberries okay?
Uh-huh. Yeah, dried blueberries are good.
That sounds like Costco, I didn't know.
Those are good. I love those. In fact, for a while, I started throwing those into my oatmeal.
Yeah, that's what I knew.
Frozen berry as well.
Frozen berries are fine, yeah. Because in where we live, we don't get berries year round. And so either they're going to be super expensive or they're going to ship them in from Chile or somewhere. So it's not good for our environment. So
Yeah.
frozen are great.
And the fresh is the milk, you have to toss it or can that be washed off or washed off?
I don't
I'm
like
getting
mold
there.
on my berries because it's hard to clean those little blueberries.
Um,
But
Yeah,
mold,
I just made an
Deb, what's your opinion of the Mind diet?
I wish it was 100% whole food plant-based, but I like it. I think it's doable for a lot of people. I mean, I wish it didn't include fish or chicken, but whatever. They did a study on it and it seemed to work. So I think it's okay for the average Joe, but I think we're a little cut above here. We could do even a little more. What do you think? Why'd you ask that?
No, I saw.
You don't like it?
I saw the fish and the chicken.
Yeah.
Kind of like both of those.
So if you like fish and chicken, you're loving the Mind diet.
Yeah, so I looked at that and I thought, well, maybe I should ask Deb what she thinks all in all about the Mind diet. And
Yeah.
everything that's included in it.
I think it's been shown to be effective, so that's cool. But I think we could do the thing they didn't do is let's look at how this is compared to a whole food plant-based diet,
Right.
which we might even see better results.
Isn't fish have this omega-3 oil that would help you?
Omega-3s are good for brain. And yeah, I'm going to show you in a second this couple called the Eyes, who I do follow a lot. They're big on brain health stuff, and I admire them wholeheartedly. And they have actually been looking at fish to see if maybe that would be okay, because right now they're 100% whole food plant-based. So yeah, I don't know. I wish it wasn't for many reasons.
Deb, is fish included in the Mediterranean diet?
Uh-huh. It is. Fish is in the Mediterranean diet. That's the Mediterranean part right there. Is the fish, and is there wine on here too?
No, yes, looks like.
And
We
butter
do-
And cheese.
Yeah,
And
see,
butter and cheese,
see,
yeah.
I don't, but so no more than a tablespoon of butter and choose olive oil instead. And then cheese, no more than once a week.
See the size of one scale?
Yeah. Okay. That is not a serving size. So no fast food, fried food, cheese. So limited to once a week, which as much as I think we should never do those things, I think that's reasonable for some people. You know, like I'm not going to give it all up forever, but once a week I could do that. But once a week, then turns into twice a week, and then it turns in, it's a slippery slope. So I'd rather see a whole food plant-based diet. And then pastries, I think this is much too generous. I guess if we are kind of picking apart the Mind diet, less than 5 times a week, seriously?
No, no.
But they did the study. I think their point is they're trying to be reasonable for most people. You guys are most people. You guys really take it a step up. So I think if we take from it, what we want is whole foods, grains, fruits and vegetables, beans, and other stuff. If you still eat that, okay. I think that we do even better if we didn't. That's my opinion. Here's some more specific foods. So you hear turmeric all the time. So curcumin is what is in turmeric. And it's been studied a lot for brain health. That's the yellow stuff. It's like poor man's saffron. And it's an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial. And there's been some results that say it's great, some that haven't. I think we can't go wrong with it. But I don't think we need our capsules of turmeric that they sell at Costco. Once Costco gets wind of something good, they're selling it this big now. So I still think it's good that we include it as a spice in our foods. And I've told you before that one of the patients previously, I haven't seen him for a while, but he mixed black pepper, turmeric, and garlic powder, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, and a little salt shaker. And that's what he put on everything. So I've done that ever since he gave me that idea. So I sprinkle it on everything. And honestly, it doesn't have that strong a flavor, but I do sprinkle it on everything. It's a 1/3 turmeric, 1/3 black pepper, and 1/3 garlic powder. And the black pepper helps you to utilize that turmeric better, makes it more bioavailable. So I kind of like it. I don't feel like it has a super strong taste. Like sometimes I'm sprinkling it on and then I still put pepper on my dish, or I still put garlic in it. Flavonoids you'll hear about a lot. One of the flavonoids is, so this is a phytochemical. One of them are polyphenols. You'll hear those a lot too. Very good for brain health. And flavonoids are antioxidants. It makes your blueberries blue, the anthocyanins. It's also in cocoa for those of us who enjoy a little cocoa now and then. So we want to include these flavonoids. And then, caffeine is funny because I want it to be all good, but they have shown that caffeine may be helpful and lowers those little beta amyloids, but it's only in mice. And if it's in mice, it doesn't mean it's true in human studies. I mean, until we grow a tail, where it's not going to happen. But I don't know. Those of us who cling to any little study that's about what we want, we love the caffeine.
We will rock you.
That's exactly. Yes. So here's our polyphenols. So resveratrol, also polyphenols, they're in grapes and they're in red wine. Hence the Mediterranean diet, thing that everybody thinks it's so cool because we get red wine. It's an antioxidant, it's anti-inflammatory, but we can also notice those polyphenols in our grapes and also in a lot of our fruits and vegetables. We don't have to drink wine to get it. There's some minerals they've looked at. They've looked at maybe magnesium deficiency could lead to more of an impaired memory. Some doctors might put you on magnesium, but I wouldn't do it unless they checked it first. But magnesium deficiencies are not very common in our country where we get a wide variety of foods. Nuts, seeds, beans, whole grains, soy. And then vitamin supplements have gone both ways. This people who do those studies want it so bad to say, oh, if you take this vitamin supplement that's got the omega-3s in it, it's going to help your brain health. Or, they just haven't been very consistent.
Oh, great.
Grapes.
Is it very sweet, a lot of sugar in there? Is that okay?
So yeah, so grapes are a carbohydrate. A serving of grapes, a carbohydrate serving of grapes is about 15 grapes. I'm not counting those big holiday ones. Those are more like 7. Okay, yeah. Oh, I don't know if I know how to do that. Oh no, wrong way. I don't know how to go. No, I'm going, oh, hi, where are you? Sorry, I didn't know how to go backwards and I went forward. Oh, I can just hit that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Which one is it?
no,
Forward?
now we've bypassed it.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, I didn't know I could do that one. This one. More? Shout it out if you think about it. Okay, soy is another one that they've looked at. And soy, some studies have always been conflicting, like every study. There's one that shows good, one that shows bad. But in 2020, they did find one that the soy isoflavones, which is another phytochemical that's in soy products, helped with cognition and memory. So soy, this would be soy in its more natural form. So like soybeans or even soy milk or tofu. It's not so much if you have a veggie burger that's got soy in it, or what'd you say, Evan? Soy sauce. Definitely not soy sauce. So I'm not sure where you stand on soy products. I mean, I love them. And I think that's a great plant-based source of protein. Soybeans are awesome. You were right. And sometimes doctors will tell people, especially women who have had breast cancer, we got to stay away from the soy. And that is old research. They're not up on the new stuff. It's really can be quite helpful, but in moderation. I mean, that doesn't mean we're taking soy supplements or isoflavone supplements. We don't want to do that. Oh, look at that. So based on all those specific things, we want to get vegetables. Now, who here thinks they get at least 3 to 5 servings a day of vegetables? Servings, half a cup cooked, cup raw.
I wish I could say that.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Well, and I think 2 is very typical of all the food logs I've looked at all my career. Sometimes people won't have any at lunch and then they'll have a couple at dinner, or they'll have 1 at lunch, 1 at dinner. So we do want to think about ways to increase it, like have 2 or 3 at a meal, or have a combination like that dish we made today had a number of vegetables in it.
To be like certain vegetables, because you always, like, I used to buy it a long time ago, I always had the superfoods. I mean, can it be any vegetable, or does it have to be specific and stronger?
So Paul's asking, does it have to be specific vegetables? So really, no, as long as we're also including a green in there during the day. We really should have greens every day. A green, spinach. So we threw spinach in there. Then that's how you kind of get it sometimes. You just throw it into something, throw it in a soup or stew. Broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable. It's good, but yeah, it's cancer fighter. Broccoli. I usually, when I reheat things, because I am big on batch cooking, I will put a little bowl of kale with the stuff I'm going to put on it and microwave it. My leftover chili, my leftover soup, my leftover stuff. So that then, plus I usually have a vegetable on there too, if we can. You do have to plan it. You can't just hope that you'll get enough. You got to work at, I think, or have it until it's part of your everyday foods. So John, you said, yeah, you get plenty. So how do you do it?
In the morning, it's beans and greens and chilies. For lunch for me is more of a snack, so it's about now, hummus and I think leftovers. So it's red sauce and meatballs.
Yeah.
And soy meatballs. And dinner will be whatever is either more meatballs or whatever we've got. There's a cauliflower thing we'll have probably pasta.
Okay. So
But there's no meat.
yeah, I like that you start with breakfast. That makes it good. I don't do that very often. I mean, I do like the savory. You guys have all convinced me that savory oatmeal is okay. And I do have that, but yeah, I don't have it every day. Yes.
Did you say savory?
Savory oatmeal. So to me, oatmeal should be sweet. It should have raisins in it and some nuts on it, maybe some berries. But a savory oatmeal would be one that's almost like Indian food. You got your oatmeal, but you throw some greens in it. You throw some, I don't know, seasonings, turmeric in it, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Cumin.
Cumin.
Coriander, think Indian food.
There you go. All those things.
A little bit of texture you want.
Right. I actually do love that. And I throw edamame in there too.
Yeah.
I just don't have it every day. But I need to have something every day. That's a good idea. You want to get your fruits, 2 to 4 servings of fruit a day. How do you do with fruits? How do you do when it's winter? Frozen. Okay. We do our frozen. All right. That's good. Of course, pears, apples, pears. Yes. Oranges. We got mandarins coming out any day now, if they haven't already. Yes. And persimmons. Gotta love the persimmon. Okay. And then we get our whole grains every day. 3 or more servings. And the serving would be like half a cup cooked. It's like today we had that brown rice that Ivan made. So half a cup would be 1 serving, or a cup of a cold cereal, or it could be a slice of bread. So we went, and intact whole grains, I mean, the whole original, like oats would be more, or oat groat would be more intact than even rolled oats. But rice, barley, quinoa, those would be intact whole grains, nothing that's been processed too much. And then be careful about your fats, because remember, associated with Alzheimer's is saturated fats. So saturated fats are solid at room temperature. Think shortening or a stick of butter, but also in fried foods. There's our donuts and things. And then on the other side are the healthy fats, but we still want to watch our portions of those because they are super high in calories and they all come with a little saturated fat. So nuts, seeds, avocado would be my first choice. And then maybe a little oil, but we're going to go real easy on that oil because it loses a lot of the health benefits when we take it out of that olive and turn it into oil.
How much nuts you recommend, right?
A handful.
How many, if you count, how many, like 10, 20, 30?
Yeah, I'd say a quarter cup. It depends on the nut. Like if they're Brazil nuts, you only get like 7. But if it was peanuts, you get more. Yeah. I have a little
Okay.
list. I'll bring it next time I come, or I'll send it to Linda. I have a list that shows how many nuts are in a serving. Stay hydrated with good beverages like water or teas. So avoiding the alcohol, the sports drinks, too much caffeine. And over here, have your tea, and coffee's okay too. So here it is, just bottom line. Eat more often our dark green leafies and other veggies, our berries, our nuts and seeds, whole grains, beans and lentils, basic stuff. This is what we talk about all the time. Choosing heart healthy fats in moderation. And if you must, a little fish, a little poultry, no skin, if you must. But plant foods, I think, would be preferred. Even though that Mind Diet said, maybe it's okay, I think we could do even better without it. And then eat less often, at least red meats, if not all meat. Butter and stick margarine, cheese, these are all the high saturated fat foods. Pastries, sweets, fried foods, alcohol, moderation. I have my Schurzeyes here. Yeah. These are the Schurzeyes. They wrote this book, 30-Day Alzheimer's Solution, and they have found in their studies that there is no amount of alcohol that is safe to protect us from Alzheimer's. So not even that glass of wine that other people say, they have really found there is nothing, which was very sad to me. But they did write this book, 30-Day Alzheimer's Solution. They're the Schurzeyes. It's Dean and Aisha Schurzey. And they have this neuro plan. I get one more acronym. So neuro is their nutrition, exercise. The U is unwind, like lower your stress. R is restorative sleep. So meaning you're sleeping well, not just laying in bed. And O is to optimize our cognitive reserve and our connections. So keeping social, doing puzzles, crosswords, things that keep us going. And so then their vegetables are the neuro, or not their vegetables, their diet is the neuro 9, which is basically all the stuff we just talked about. And it's a little more specific though. They're saying in our dark green leafies, 3 cups a day. And then that's raw, 1.5 cups if it's cooked. Whole grains, 1/2 cup servings a day. Seeds, 2 tablespoons. Beans and legumes, 3 1/2 cup servings a day. Berries, nuts, there's our 1/4 cup. Cruciferous veggies, so there's your broccoli, your cabbage, your Brussels, your cauliflower. Also your kale would fit in here too, 1 cup a day. Your tea and herbs and spices every day. Do you think you do incorporate this into what you eat? Is there anything you'd want to change or add? Anything? Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, the nightshades, it's like eggplant and tomatoes and potatoes are kind of the hot ones. But nightshades have been linked with a little bit of inflammation in some people. But if they don't bother you, then you don't have to worry about it. For maybe somebody though who has severe arthritis, if they eat tomatoes and then that makes it worse, they should stay away from those nightshades. But generally for most of us, it's okay.
I know.
Bless you. Not really. No,
Is the tea caffeinated?
it
Oh,
could.
yeah. I know oolong and black.
Yeah,
And
those
green,
are.
I'm sure about white.
Yeah, I think white could be too. It could be, yeah.
Only 1 cup?
Oh, I think at least 1 cup is what they're saying.
Oh, at least, okay.
At least 1 cup.
How about fish? Because I read that Japanese longevity because they eat a lot of fish.
Mhm. It hasn't been enough in the studies for them to add it to their neuro 9. Bless you. So Tim, this is from the Alzheimer's Association, which I actually love their website. They have lots of great information. This is what they say to how to love your brain. It's all the same things we've been saying. Break a sweat, hit the books, meaning engage your brain, butt out, so don't smoke, follow your heart. So anything that's good for your heart is also going to be good for your brain. A heads up, so avoid head injury. I always felt like for my dad, that contributed to his dementia because he fell off his bike quite a few times. Fuel up right, so I mean eating right, make sure you're getting some sleep, catch your Z's, take care of your mental health. Buddy up, meaning hook up with some people, have some social connections, and then stump yourself. So challenge your mind. So I think those all seem doable. So think about what you're going to do to help reduce your risk. Like, I feel like I eat my greens every day, so I'd be all right with that, but I'm going to really focus on the berries. So I'm going to say this different. I will eat berries 5 days a week. This is my SMART goal. So it's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable because I can totally do it. It's relevant to me because I know that those are healthy. A time bound means for how long. So for the next month, between now and when I see you on the 1st of the next month, I'm going to try to have berries at least 5 days a week. And what's my reward for having my berries? Will it be a hot fudge sundae? No,
The planet, right?
it should be a non-food related one. So I'm going to take a day trip. I'm going to take a day trip. I would love to go out dancing, but I have no one to go with.
I think I have a problem with time bound,
Okay.
partly because it's saying that you'll be good in 30 days, and it's not a lifestyle change if it's time bound.
Okay.
And so your goal would be, I will have integrated this by, but if you sweat, it's 4 weeks, then I can get off, you're complicating your problem.
Okay.
And it has to be a lifestyle change.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So John's saying he doesn't like this concept of time bound because it makes it sound like it's a diet. But the way I look at it is that we set goals. Like I might set a goal every week and then I change that goal to keep contributing. But I think you are right. Our ultimate outcome is going to be a lifestyle change. These are the little goals I'm going to do to get to that whole lifestyle change, and keeping that in mind, I think is really important. So thank you for bringing that up.
That's what nurses do.
Mhm.
That SMART goal setting is what they teach nurses to do with their patients. Only first, not with diet, but diet might be part of it. But that's exactly what they teach us today. and
Yeah.
what I teach too.
I think that's so great. That's what they teach, because really, some of us, if you say to anybody, a client, what's your goal? And they say, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. Like, that's not the goal. You need to do things to do, that's your outcome though. So thank you for saying that. And yes.
So the time bound actually means, oh, I'm going to do this after Christmas because I got a lot of time. No, your time bound is, I'm going to do this today or by Monday. So that
Yes.
give you a deadline that you need to move forward, and not necessarily like only this.
Yeah. So that's
the
how we
idea
do
of
have to
time
think about that. And so thanks for bringing that up, because that's a good point. And I hadn't realized people might be thinking of it that way, is that it's not for our lifestyle change. That's going to be forever, but this will be, we're going to at least do it for then. And then I'm going to revisit that goal. Like, yeah, I can still do that. Or, oh, I really blew it a lot. What I need to do is go get those frozen berries so they'll eat them better. So you. And our recipe today was actually from the Sure's Eyes. So Linda shared with me a little video they had of a cooking demo, and that is Italian white bean skillet with walnut Parmesan is what she made in this little video. And so it has lots of our Neuro 9 in here. So it's got the nuts, the cat had a little cashew is what cream, which what made it creamier and whiter. It's got the onion, it's got garlic, it's got our cauliflower, our cruciferous vegetable, it's got tomatoes. We got the beans, we got the spinach, we got some herbs from our basil leaves. So what do you guys think of that? What would you change?
I'd add the red pepper flakes.
I had some in there, but I didn't want to overdo.
Yeah.
But we should have that on the side so
Yeah.
people could sprinkle more red pepper flakes.
It was basically the flavors were good.
Mhm.
Good, strong flavors, not a mush of gravy.
Mhm.
Very good.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
You could probably, if you're trying to get more greens in, you could probably put spinach or something. in there.
So it has spinach in it.
Oh, did
I put
you?
4 cups of spinach in there, but it all shriveled down.
Yeah.
So you're right, we could do so much more. Yeah,
Did you put
okay.
Basil in it too?
I put basil from my garden and The tomatoes were the last tomatoes from my garden.
So they were the best.
So they were the best.
Vine ripened.
That's right. Okay, so I think that's all we got. So I think, especially this is good to think about now, even during the holiday season, that we want to still, our brain and our body don't go on vacation or take a holiday. So we talked last time, the holidays are just a day or a few days during the season. So we don't want to stretch them out throughout the year, throughout the season. Keep these things, always keep your whys in mind. So my why I'm eating this way is because I don't want to get Alzheimer's, I don't want to get diabetes, and I don't want to die of a heart attack. So every choice I make should see if it's going to help me with that why. So know your whys. So thank you. I think that's it.
Thank you.
And thanks for that recipe idea and that video. She was good.
Yes, she was. And Joe Colton actually joined the Neuro Academy.
Oh, really? So what is the Neuro Academy?
This is club those two doctors offer.
Like online?
Well, I think they actually have real sessions down where they live in Southern California.
Oh,
And once a week they do cooking stuff together.
yeah.
They have a big clientele, I think.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you have to ask Joe more when he's back. He's fishing right now.
Oh, okay. So those of you in Zoom land, bye. Thanks for joining us today.
And you can end
I have one verb question on your.
that. Only one.